to Unicorn Crazy Family. So today we're going to be reading Curious George's Dream. Let's get into it. Actually, this is by Morgan and H.A. Ways. So, let's get into it. Curious George's Dream. This is Curious George. He was a good little monkey. He always was very curious. After one day at the amusement park with his friend, the man with the yellow hat, George was tired and glad to be home. Soon dinner was ready, but when George sat down to eat, he was too small to reach his plate. "I'm sorry, George," the man said. "I forgot to fix your chair." He put a large book on George's chair, and George climbed up. As he sat on the book that was set on his chair, George thought about his day. All day he had been too small. "Your hands are too little to hold these baby bunnies," the manager of the petting zoo told him. "I'm sorry," said the man, approaching the coaster. "I cannot let you in. You need a grown-up to ride with you." "Maybe next year," said the man, taking tickets at the roller coaster. After a good meal and a good dessert, George began to feel better. When the dishes were finished, the man said, "George, I have a surprise for you." And they went into the living room. The surprise was a movie. George was glad to watch a movie. That was something he was not too small to do. George was glad to watch a movie. That was something he was not too small to do. George was enjoying the movie, but it had been a full day, and now he had a full stomach. Soon he could not keep his eyes open. The next thing George knew, he was back at the petting zoo, but this time something was different. The petting zoo was small. In fact, everything was small. George looked around. Then he looked at himself. Maybe everything wasn't so small after all. He thought maybe he was big. Oh, this is not right, thought George. Then he remembered the bunnies. Why he was not too small to hold a bunny now. He was not too small to do anything. What fun, George thought. And he went to the bunny hutch. Now George could hold lots of bunnies and cuddle them up in them to his face. The bunnies liked George, but the manager of the petting zoo did not put those bunnies down, she said. You'll scare them. You're too big. George didn't want to scare them. Scare the bunnies. He put them down and turned to go. When George saw the roller coaster, he was curious. Was he big enough to ride it now? Of course he was big enough if he only could fit on if he could find a seat big enough for him. But the man taking tickets made George wait. You cannot ride this ride, he said. You're too big. George was sad. He could not ride. But he did as he was told. That's sad. Catch that monkey, someone yelled at George. Was leaving the roller coaster. He's dangerous. People in the park became furious, frustrated. They began to run. They ran in all directions, but mostly they ran away from George. George felt awful. He didn't want to frighten anyone. He just wanted to hide, but where could he go? He was too big to fit anywhere. Then George saw the carousel. He won't need a grown-up to get on with him this time. But this time, George wished he had a grown-up with him. He wished his friend was here. George sat on the carousel, feeling lonely. Someone called his name, George, George. It sounded like the man with the yellow hat. Could his friend be there to take him home? George heard his name again. It was his friend. George wanted to jump into his friend's arms, but the man with the yellow hat was too small. He could never take George home now. The man called his name again. George, he said, wake up. It's time for bed. You fell asleep while watching the movie. George looked at his friend. Why, he wasn't small after all. George looked at himself. He was not big. Now George could jump into his friend's arms, and that is what he did. As the man with the yellow hat that tucked him in, George was happy to be in his little bed. It was not very big, he thought, but he fit perfect. He fit in perfectly. George was just the right size. Hey guys, if you want to see more like this, subscribe. But I will do more like this in the future. Bye for now.